We find comfort in predictability. We build a script for our lives. Wake up, commute, advance, repeat, relying on that automated routine for safety. Then comes a layoff, a medical diagnosis, a breakup. The rhythm stops. Society frames these moments as fresh starts or clean slates, but psychology tells a different story. Every major life transition actually begins with a painful ending. Psychologist Daniel Levinson studied the seasons of human life and found that these sudden ruptures shatter our homeostasis. The foundational structures we rely on to make sense of the world dissolve. When the script breaks, the loss extends beyond a job or a partner. It erodes the very framework we use to define who we are. This chart illustrates our brain's hatred of uncertainty. In clinical studies, participants show a much higher stress response when told they have a 50% chance of receiving an electric shock than when they are told the shock is guaranteed. We would rather know a bad thing is coming than deal with not knowing. When our life path suddenly disappears, that intolerance for the unknown triggers an immediate biological reaction. Stress hormones flood the nervous system, overriding our logical planning centers. To bypass this biological panic, we look for an exit. We force a mask of positivity, insisting everything is fine. Or we pull a geographic, moving away to flee the discomfort. These avoidance strategies only treat the symptoms of change. If you refuse to face the underlying loss, your psychological transition freezes in place. To actually move forward, we have to fight the instinct to run and willingly step into the dark, formless void of the unknown. Think of a caterpillar entering a cocoon. If you were to open it midway through the process, you wouldn't find a miniature butterfly. You would find a dissolved, unrecognizable, chaotic soup. This biological reality maps directly to human psychology. Author William Bridges called this the neutral zone, the messy, liminal space between an old life chapter and a new one. This disorientation is what we commonly call an identity crisis. Psychoanalyst Erik Erikson described this state as role confusion, a period where we lack a clear sense of how we fit into the world. During this phase, you might experience severe emotional dysregulation, an intense bias toward negative thinking, and paralyzing existential anxiety. This chaos breeds a profound fear of choosing. In the novel The Bell Jar, Sylvia Plath compared this to sitting before a branching fig tree, starving to death because picking one beautiful fig means watching all the others rot and fall to the ground. Committing to a new path feels like a terrible loss. This disorientation marks the difficult, necessary friction of an outdated identity finally being dismantled. Surviving this phase requires a specific psychological tool: emotional agility. It demands active acceptance of your circumstances rather than rigid avoidance. Rigid emotional structures crack under the pressure of transitions, but an agile system recognizes discomfort is the price of a meaningful life. Instead of fighting negative emotions, it treats them as instructive data points, allowing the system to adapt and realign. Cognitive scientist Maya Shankar experienced this firsthand. As a teenager, a sudden tendon injury instantly ended her lifelong trajectory of becoming a concert violinist, forcing her to reevaluate her deepest values in the void that followed. A vital shift occurs here. We stop anchoring our sense of self to what we do, like playing the violin, and start anchoring it to why we do it, like a love for human connection. The neutral zone's true psychological purpose is to strip away superficial labels. Once they are gone, we discover the core values that cannot be broken by circumstance. Eventually, the dissolving stops. The individual steps into a trajectory they could never have planned in their old life. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth. The extreme friction of the transition acts as a forced upgrade to our psychological operating system. This chart shows how. By refusing toxic positivity, we increase our downward tolerance for negative emotions, creating a proportional expansion upward into joy. We emerge with profound agency, operating from an authenticated self, completely detached from external metrics. The French philosopher Albert Camus argued that a passionate life doesn't come from fulfilling a predictable script. Meaning is generated by the raw act of being present in the world. This updated self no longer fears losing homeostasis. It knows how to navigate the void, moving confidently through a reality that is constantly in motion. When a life script shatters, the resulting chaos serves as the precise forge required to build your most authentic self.